Deputy Brendan Howlin has 9 minutes.
I want to begin, like others, and acknowledging the work and perseverance of Senator Francis Black for devising this bill and piloting it through the other House. I'd also like to recognise the contribution of civil society organisations, including the Irish Congress of Trade Unions, Trócaire, Christian Aid, Sadaka, and to the development of this bill, and indeed to Fianna Fáil for bringing it into this House today. The bill has been given detailed discussion and deliberation in the Seanad, and I think it's fair to say that all sides, all speakers last count in the Seanad, recognised that this bill is designed on sound moral principles and seeks only to do what is right. Labour supports this bill. Labour has a long history of support for the people of Palestine. Although it's been said and repeated already, I think it's important to restate that this is not a boycott of Israel bill or a ban on Israeli goods. This bill is not anti-Semitic or anti-Israeli in any aspect. I utterly condemn anti-Semitism without any equivocation and deplore its rise in the world today. The State of Israel is internationally recognised, is a legitimate member of the international community, and I reject any assertions to the contrary. We want Ireland to continue to be a friend and partner to the people of Israel. But equally, Ireland is and will continue to be a friend and supporter of the people of Palestine. Labour wants to see a solution to the Israel-Palestine conflict, and we support again international efforts to restart and re-energise the process of finding a durable two-state solution. I want Lascan Kula to focus on the bill itself. It's a simple bill, but one that addresses a complex topic. The bill seeks to make it an offence in Ireland for a person to import or sell goods or services originating in an occupied territory. Simpliciter. The bill seeks to make it an offence for a person to extract resources from an occupied territory in certain circumstances. The bill defines an occupied territory as a territory which has been confirmed as occupied by a decision or advisory opinion of the International Court of Justice, or by a decision of the International Criminal Court, or by a decision of an international tribunal, or else designated as such for the purposes of this Act in a regulation made by the Minister. This definition obviously includes the occupied Palestinian territories, but it also includes other territories belonging to the Ukraine, Moldova, Georgia, that are recognised internationally as illegally occupied by Russia. And there are other territories, some already mentioned by other speakers, around the world that have been occupied by armed forces operating under the control of a foreign power. While this law has obviously had its origins in concerns for the Palestinian people, it may prove to be a significant piece of legislation in relation to recent aggression by Russian and Russian-backed armed forces all too close to the European Union's own borders. The bill is addressing one of the most basic aspects of national sovereignty, which is the territorial integrity of a state. It's a blind spot in our law that we don't already make it illegal to trade in goods originating in occupied territories. As well as being an affront to international law, occupation by armed forces is a very costly undertaking. The cost of occupation and warfare, including the costs of reparations, is one of the ways in which Europe has sought to eliminate warfare as a policy choice by aggressive governments. In that context, we should clearly have a law to prevent occupying forces from making economic gain from illegal occupation. The Taoiseach has told us that the AG has told him that to implement this bill would be unlawful under European law. Other legal opinions disagree. There is no doubt in my mind that we should proceed with this legislation. Let's test it in the European Commission or the European Court of Justice. Let's see what they actually decide. And I listened to the Taoiseach talking. I heard what the Taoiseach said in terms of there may well be challenges against this bill. But the Taoiseach knows that very regularly the Attorney General provides a list of written potential challenges against the state for breaches of European law. That's a regular part and feature of government. It should not forbid us from pursuing doing what is right in this case. Most of us in this chamber belong to parties represented in Brussels and Strasbourg. I will certainly undertake to communicate to my colleagues in the Party of European Socialists to share with them a copy of this bill and to ask them to support this initiative at European level and indeed in their home parliaments across Europe. If the law is incomplete or has unintended consequences, then we can address those. If nothing else, we in this Parliament are taking an important stand on the issue of economic exploitation of territories that have been unlawfully occupied. The economic exploitation of occupied territory is an issue that resonates with Ireland's history. Just this Monday, we remembered the democratic programme written by the then Labour leader Tom Johnson and recorded as one of the first documents to be placed before the first Dáil. There are two excerpts from that text that are directly relevant to what we're discussing today. Johnson wrote 100 years ago this week that we declare that the nation's sovereignty extends not only to all men and women in the nation, but to all material possessions, the nation's soil and its resources, all the wealth and all the wealth-producing processes within the nation. Our declaration of independence from the British Empire required the nascent Irish state to wrest control of the economy, including the soil and natural resources of the territory of Ireland. There couldn't be meaningful independence if the economy was excessively under foreign control. And that is true of any territory, any nation, any nascent country, if its resources are bled from it or removed from it before it has a chance to come into full existence. A second quotation from the democratic programme states that while undertaking the organisation of the nation's trade, import and export, it shall be the duty of the Republic to prevent the shipment from Ireland of food and other necessities until the wants of the Irish people are fully satisfied and in future and provided for. We all know that shipments of corn farmed for absentee landlords continued to leave Ireland during the Great Famine of 1845 to 1849, which left 1 million dead and caused 2 million more to leave Ireland in the space of 10 years. Economist Cormac O'Grada has calculated that in 1845 alone, more than 26 million bushels of grain were exported from a starving Ireland to England. Research by Christine Keneally of the University of Liverpool shows that nearly 4,000 vessels carrying food left Ireland for England during 1847 at the height of the famine. We also know from World Bank studies and other analysis that the occupation of the territories of Palestine has at a great cost to the people of Palestine and to their economy. The UN Conference on Trade and Development has gone so far as to say that 50 years of occupation has driven the Palestinian economy into de-development and poverty. Political leaders in Palestine need obviously to do a lot more to improve their own governance. But Ireland and this Parliament has a long history of standing with them. The least we can do now is to ensure that economic gains from illegal occupation are not paid for with Irish money. And we must encourage not only ourselves to support this bill, but our sister parties throughout Europe to do the same.